Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you're now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild, and this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Them, the Scare, and we are sipping on absinthe and fruit berry punch juice or something, I don't know. We're wasting it, and we're wasting it. Anyways, y'all, see, the first season of this was like pure black trauma, so it was just like, whatever, the racists are the monsters again, and the demon is a racist, and y'all, so this is like a court of thorn and roses. You have to read the second book before you can decide. She in the way. The second book before you can decide if you don't like the series. So basically, like, they brought it together in this second season. Y'all, this is like a horror story about black generational trauma. And it's still black trauma, but like, we haven't seen it like this before. This is like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where they got the demon they got Dio following the whole family for like multiple seasons and shit like that. This is like Paranormal Activity, where that demon was following them white people around and shit. We ain't seen this in the black universe yet. Not this way, not later. I hope there's a third season. So we gonna get the spoiler out the way, because I need to start from the beginning, from last season, and then we can kind of go into this season. I'm not gonna touch too much on last season, but yeah, the black family moves into Compton in the black migration. The mama's already traumatized because some racist slammed her baby up against the wall and killed her. And then they move into a house that's already been haunted by this white man that made a covenant with the devil to keep the black people out of Compton. And he uses these like demons to like terrorize each members of the family to scare them into like leaving Compton or just going crazy or whatever. But he doesn't win at the end of the season, and the family wins, right? So this season, there's two main characters. There's Don and there's Edmund. They're twins. They have been separated when they were 3 years old. But before the age of 3, they grew up in this foster home with this psychopathic woman, and there's a lot that's why the system's messed up too. It's a lot of these foster homes and foster parents, they're just in it to get the $1,500 a head that they get for each child, or $5,000 a head, however many dollars a head they get for each child. So they don't really care about the kids, so they abusing the kids and all this stuff. And so basically, they get adopted by this woman, Athena, played by Pam, the magical, beautiful, wonderful Pam Grier. Yes, squad. And the husband dies of a heart attack while Pam is, her name is Pam Grier. I don't care if they call her Athena. Pam and the little girl, Dawn, is out for groceries. And when they come home, Edmund, the little 3-year-old, is holding a bottle of pills, right? And he's like, the husband is just laying there dead on the floor. Now, from what happened, I can assume that Edmund didn't have nothing to do with the husband's death. I think Edmund was just 3 and couldn't open the bottle of pills. We see that in the scene where Pam Grier is about to die, and he brings the husband back crawling on the floor in the store, and she trying to open the bottle, but she got arthritis and shit in her hands. She can't open it. I think that was him showing her, see what happened? See, you can't open the bottle, can you, bitch? See, no, because I'm mad at Athena. She sent him back there, bitch. And so basically, she is just troubled by this child. The child is also developmentally got issues from his trauma living in that house. And so he's having temper tantrums. He's hard to handle. She's a single parent now. And so she sends him back and keeps the little girl. Fucked up, for sure. And this is basically how they ended up in that house, is their mama couldn't take care of them. So their mom is the oldest daughter from the first season, and she couldn't take care of these kids because she was too traumatized by what happened to her as a child, and their daddy ran off, and so she couldn't do it anymore. So it's kind of illustrating how insidious black trauma is. It's not just coming from outside and the white people. Like, we are perpetuating this within our own communities, because there's nothing wrong with giving your child up for adoption. There's nothing wrong with having an abortion if you so choose. But, we need to be able to think through where we're sending the babies before we send them to the people, because look what happened. And so we are like, and this woman just abused these children. She was putting Dawn in a little box and she couldn't breathe and shit. And then Edmund would put a straw in the box to help her breathe and shit. So this little boy was over here protecting his sister from these people. And then they both get sent to this house with this nice lady. And then he gets sent back. And so his life, let's start with him. His life is just garbage from then on out. You know, he stays at this woman's house at the foster care for however many years, then ends up with this white family where, like, basically on his 12th birthday, the white family couldn't handle his temper tantrums. Like, he's already, you know, got the full disorders and stuff now, and people aren't helping him in the way. It sounds like they didn't even try to help him. In the ways that he needed help, the therapies and intensive therapy. He needed intensive therapies and trauma-based therapies. And this was in the early 90s, so the trauma-based therapy was mostly CBT. We don't have like the EMDRs and the brain spotting and the somatic therapies we have today. He may have needed some medication. He needed consistent work to help him work through the traumas, but no one cared for him. And so he was shuffled through the system. These white people got rid of him when he was 12 and left him at a group home on his, why would you wait till his birthday? So he's just been abused, abandoned over and over and over. And now he's like working as an adult. So we see this juxtaposition between the two of them, both of their stories in the beginning of the show. And we don't know if it's a parallel story in the beginning, if he's in the past or the future, if she's in the past or the future. They're just showing both of their stories. So he's working in 1989. This is 1989 for him. He's working at this little like fake ass Chuck E. Cheese as like a Porky Pig situation. And he's trying to be an actor. His goal is, and I thought it was interesting. Do you notice like how a lot of these serial killers and sociopaths have tried to be actors or some highfalutin career? Like Ted Bundy wanted to be a lawyer, but he didn't have the ability to accept his mistakes when he made mistakes and learn from them. And so he couldn't finish college. Because he was a sociopath, and sociopaths can't accept mistakes. They have to like be perfect at everything. So you're not going to finish college with that ideology. It's just not going to happen. We have Marilyn Manson, or what? The Manson dude, because is it Marilyn Manson or is that the singer? Y'all know who I'm talking about though. He over here tried to be a singer, could not take the constructive criticism about his music, flipped out and decided he wanted to kill everybody in the entertainment industry because they wouldn't let him be a musician. And so you got this nigga over here like repeating, like I love it, like how he like got the Dahmer glasses but like with a little swag, a little twist in the middle. How he over here basically doing like some kid dress up shit like Gacy, and he's over here like doing some like what was he doing? This shit was amazing. I saw all this shit. I don't care. He's doing like Silence of the Lamb while he's practicing his little skit in his apartment for his little like, you know, performance at the interview or whatever the fuck it's called, and audition. And so he's over here doing a little Silence of the Lamb, dancing around his apartment, acting crazy until he figures out what his character is. And then we got like a little Ted Bundy Night Stalker situation when he was outside that dude's window trying to get into his house. And then, you know, like the nigga took on a bunch of roles and then he formulated it into one thing, and then he turned into Raggedy Ann and Andy, nigga. And I'm upset because Pam Grier was talking about how this was a racist doll. I think she mainly just tied it back to the fact that the babies had the doll when she picked the babies up, and she didn't like that they had the doll because they was white. But I don't know. It's Raggedy Ann and Andy's racist. No, because there's this cartoon that I used to watch as a kid, like, and it was this movie with Raggedy Ann and Andy, and basically they was in a room full of toys, and then the room flooded from the storm, and all the toys had to like float it out on the flood, and all the toys had to like figure their way back, and it's on YouTube, like that was a good ass fucking. Is Raggedy Ann and Andy's racist? Like. That's a good ass movie. I figured they got Toy Story from that, and that Robin Williams movie's toys. Like, apparently it's racist. Oh, I might still low key watch that movie when I'm inebriated. I don't care. That's a good movie. So anyways, like, he trying to be like, he just doing all of them, nigga. And I was just like, what's his name? I got up on the television. What's his name? Let me see. His name is Luke James. His name, oh, and his character name is Edmund Gaines. Edward Gein. Nigga, this nigga was out here researching serial killers and trying to play. This nigga is an actor. I hope he gets an Emmy off of this part. I hope he goes on into acting and, you know, gets an Oscar. This nigga is an actor, bitch. And I just believed every piece of thing he did. It was magical. So anyways, he's creative. He wants to act and things like that. And it just makes me wonder, like, so many serial killers have tried to get these highfalutin jobs, but they don't have the discipline or the patience or the self-love to make mistakes in order to do it. And so I'm wondering about the ones that did have enough patience with themselves to actually make it into those industries. And that's why we have the Me Too movement, and these niggas is out here raping and pillaging, and well, we have Quiet on the Set, and these niggas is out here raping and pillaging. And how many of these highfalutin motherfuckers are narcissists and sociopaths in disguise that made it through the barrier? I'm just curious, because not all of them were failures is what I'm saying. So I'm just curious about how many made it through and how much of our entertainment industry is being run by sociopathic, narcissistic people. I like this movie. It was deep. It was a bunch of shit I was thinking. I watched it over and over again. It was So anyways, he's trying to be an actor. Like, he works at this little Chuck E. Cheese funky place. His boss he keep getting it from everywhere. Like, he tried to like improv his little dance move for the kids. His boss don't like it. He just getting it from all corners of everywhere. So he is trying to be an actor. He goes to this audition, tries to act hood. He's not hood. And no, when you're from the hood, you got a certain vernacular, and he cannot put that vernacular on. He can't do it. I don't like watching people embarrass themselves, so I might have fast forwarded a little bit through certain parts where he was doing things in public to embarrass himself, because it was not entertaining for me to watch him embarrass himself. I got other people, like I follow this black girl horror group on Facebook. They thought it was funny. They was laughing. I was just like, he was embarrassing. It was cringy. Shut up. We don't need to see your audition. It's okay. But yeah, he was embarrassing himself. And so anyways, on the way out, the secretary thinks he's cute and thinks he's good with kids because he works at the little Chuck E. Cheese funky place. And, I was just looking at her. Girl, you can't see this. Girl, open your eyes, bitch. Oh, girl, don't do it, girl. But I mean, she survived, but still, it was just like, and then like he's sitting outside of her job, like till nighttime, waiting for her to come out. So now he has got a fixation, not only on being an actor and this audition place, but also this bitch. He watching her come out with her coworker, this dude that was mans the camera, at the audition, and he's just over there repeating on her, I hate something, I hate something, I'll fuck you up, nigga, something, he said. And I was just like, he's gone. Like, all that trauma that he's been through, he has never developed enough sense of self to recognize other people's senses of selves. He doesn't recognize how he impacts other people. So basically, she goes out and she wants to date him or whatever, and then she tells him that, I found a part for you and that you could audition for. It's a serial killer, it's a psychopath and shit like that, and I know it's weird, but can you play the part? And that just turns a bulb on in his fucking brain to say, oh, that's the part, because he's already a sociopath. He's gone. And I feel like this is a marvelous illustration of how people can be traumatized, and some can go down one path where they are like depressed and anxious and overwhelmed with life, like Dawn is. But like can function and live and don't want to hurt people because they've been hurt. And then the other people can go down the path of the abusers that abuse them and turn into their abusers. And this is what he did. He turned into his abuser. So he's objectifying people, building constructs in his head of what he thinks people are. And he's only seeing himself in these scenarios. Like, he's not seeing how he impacts other people, or if he does see it, he doesn't give a shit. So he's over here trying to be the best, sociopath he can be. He's in his room practicing. He's pretending to be Hulk Hogan. He's watching serial killer interviews. He's pretending to be the serial killer. He's making video after video after video of him auditioning as a serial killer. And then this nigga, like, invites this bitch over for dinner. And I'm just like, why are we at his house? You don't know this nigga, girl. You thought he was cute and lovable because he, works at the Chuck E. Cheese children farm. He's not cute and lovable. He is crazy. And that blank stare off in the face stare that you see him doing, and you saw him do it at the Chuck E. Cheese children farm. And I'm gonna keep calling it that. I don't care. And you saw that far off stare. You had to call him over and over again to get his attention. And you weren't scared. Like, I was scared. You let him run off with your child and play with your child. And so they go to the dinner at his house. He cooks. I would eat nothing he made. Like he wasn't a killer yet, but like, how do you know that's not a person you eating? Like, it's so like, she's sitting up in there, they have their chit chat, and he's, acting kind of regular. No, because once you know all the shit from before, even him acting regular is creepy. Then he's like, excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom real quick. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she gets up and she starts looking around in his shit. Like, this lets me know, don't look around in nigga shit if you go to the apartments. Just don't, because if you find some shit, they have a reason to murder you. Just clock if they're crazy before you even get into their home. Just try your best. We're never 100%, but at least 3 or 4 dates before you get into a private space with this person. Watch how they treat themselves. Watch how they treat other people. Like, if they're too needy, if they are too aggressive, if they are too overwhelming, or just too sad, it's just it's not 100% gonna work, but at the very least, if you clock how they treat themselves and other people, your stats go up a bit about whether or not you can notice if this person got some fucked up shit going on or not. But she in his house, y'all. I was just like, why are you looking around at his shit? Girl, get away from his shit. Get away from his, stop looking. And then this nigga has on his sociopath costume that he designed and said, this is what I'm gonna wear, and this is what I'm gonna, and he comes out the fuck. This is where the disconnect between how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself is. He comes out the fucking blue and just scares the living shit out this bitch with a butcher knife to her neck. And so he thought that was it. And then he starts laughing like, ha ha ha, this is like some Gacy shit, because Gacy would do that shit. He would invite niggas over to his house, and the niggas that could beat his ass, he would then turn around and laugh and be like, I was just joking. Like, I didn't mean to tie you up while you were trying to sleep. Like, I just wanted to see if you could get out of the ropes. And it was only the niggas that could beat his ass. Like, everyone else that he could get tied up, he just... That's a part of why he went after young people, because they were smaller than him, because the niggas that were big as him could beat his fucking ass. These are human beings, y'all. Cowardly humans. So he's laughing, thinking it's funny, and she runs the fuck out, and he thinks like, I actually scared her. Like, I'm such a good actor. I actually scared her. And so he's not realizing that, no, you're not getting into the building anymore, nigga. We don't want to. So he goes to the audition dressed as this nigga, and everybody in the building is on alert of whether or not when he shows up. She's scared. She's in the building staring at him, and he's just like, what's going on? I'm in my costume. I'm ready to go. They kick his ass out that motherfucker. He's screaming to the sky like a fucking 10. Like, he just doesn't get why people don't like what he's putting out. honey, you can't be walking around doing things to people without having a conversation and consent first. You have to have consent. You should have been like, I've been working on this character and I don't want you to be scared, but I just want to like show you and let me know what you think, of the character I've been working on. I got a little costume set up. It might be a little shocking, but I just want, he been gone. He been gone since being in that house with that as a little boy. He's reacting to things as if he's still that same 3-year-old little boy being locked in boxes and shit. And that's what trauma does. Trauma keeps you locked in the same age that you first experienced it emotionally until you get help. So you're reacting to everything. Your nervous system is reacting to everything as if you're a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old. So every time you get triggered, even happiness, like he reacted to her liking him like a fucking 5-year-old. I'm tired. And so like he's mad, and then he goes and he finds this prostitute and she's just like doing her job on the street. She's just trying to get some money. But when you walk up to the car and you just see him staring at the window, like, don't say in your mind that he's just nervous. I knew that's what she was thinking because she kept trying because she wanted that money. And I know that she flipped the script in her mind to say, oh, he must be nervous. He has glasses on. This must be his first time. That's the shit we tell ourselves. As Black women, we tell ourselves to make it seem like these men are decent, regular human beings. They're not. No. She gets in the car. This nigga starts berating her about being a sex worker. I'm sure your parents don't like it. Why are you putting this shit on her? This is your shit, sir. Why are you antagonizing this woman? So he tries to assault her, like kill her, basically. She tries to calm him down with sex that's all she had because he locked the door, wouldn't let her the fuck out. Wouldn't let her the fuck out. She almost died, y'all. He didn't kill her though. Her and the secretary made it out alive. Even when he came back as a ghost, they made it out alive. Everyone that touched him didn't die, and it's just magical. And so, like, the police show up just in time. Take him to the police station. This nigga they thought they was basically like, oh, you must be the slasher, some slasher that was going around the hood. I don't fucking know. And he took on the part and started pretending like he was a slasher. Had all this shit in the trunk looking like he was about to kill somebody. So they thought he was a slasher. So they put the videotapes in, and this nigga got 50 hours worth of him auditioning and pretending to be a serial killer. They walk in that room and they like, nigga, you ain't nobody. You ain't nobody, nigga. And he was just like, screaming, just tired of feeling like nothing. And I'm just like, could therapy have helped at this point? I don't know. Like, in our field, sociopathy and narcissism is things that we say are unhealable. You can treat them, but the treatment just looks like you helping this person pretend to be normal so they don't get in trouble, because that's all they care about is the consequences of their actions. They don't care about how their actions impact other people. Oh, okay, so how can we pretend for you to act normal so you don't go to jail? so that you don't end up like in prison forever, your freedom taken. How can we get you to that place? Because that's basically the treatment when people acknowledge and recognize. There's people that acknowledge and recognize their sociopathy and their narcissism. Like, there's some YouTubers that are like, well, they say they're narcissists and sociopaths. I think they are, because now you have a way to funnel it through YouTube and views and shit like that, so it feeds into your little like need for attention and shit. So whatever. Do you, as long as you ain't hurting nobody, do what works for you, as long as it's not hurting you or anybody else. There you go. And so anyways, he's just like going crazy. The police release him. I feel like that's a kidnapping charge, but they don't see prostitutes as real people, and they especially don't see Black female prostitutes as real people. So you know what? He wasn't going to get that kidnapping charge. If he had got that kidnapping charge, then we could have saved a life. We could have saved multiple lives and shit. Maybe he would have killed himself in jail. Maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. But anyways, so like he goes and then sits outside of that audition place again, and he watches this woman until she leaves her job. Doesn't get the woman though. He goes to this nigga's house, the cameraman. He didn't even mess up his house. He just rearranged furniture. Took the mattress and gently removed it from the bed, folded, and then he did the piece de resistance. This nigga shit in this motherfucker's toilet. You leaving DNA. This is around the time where DNA was being used. Like, it was new still, and it took about a few months to get read through, but this was around the time that DNA was being used. And, the police force and shit. And so, like, why are you leaving this? You wearing gloves so your fingerprints don't get seen, but like the mass majority of people didn't know that DNA was being used like that. So I can't even, like, we coming off the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and we know what DNA was. So of course he wasn't gonna know what DNA. But why are you shitting this man's toilet and then leave? Oh God, I still remember it. I wonder if they like really took a shit. It looked real. Like, or was it like chocolate, like on Dave Chappelle, and he was like, he was licking his fingers after putting it on the ground. I don't know, but it was gross. It was disgusting. It was horrid. And so then dude comes back to the apartment. He making all this noise trying to tackle dude. Got dude, locked him, got him tied up in the basement of the Chuck E. Cheese children's farm. And got these weird ass animatronics singing music and shit around this nigga. And it's weird, it's creepy, it's all the things. And then he having this dude watch his birthday videos and shit from when he was 6 over and over. Because, of course, he had family, he had people, he had da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's just upset that this man had love in his life. Like, my nigga, life is hard and people do fucked up shit to you, especially when you're a child and you have no say in it, and it's horrible and evil and everything. But you get to a certain age where you have control of your life and you can make choices to do different things, and you can choose to get help for that and all the things that this person did to you, these people did to you, and you can choose to heal yourself, and then you can choose to start to recognize what positive behaviors are and go towards those positive people that show you positive behaviors and treat you like a real human being, because now you've learned how to treat yourself like a human being. You know what it looks like when other people do that, and you can be free of this. You could have been free. And I know it's hard, and it was the early 90s, so we give a smidge of leeway just because therapy was not, we didn't have it on the billboards, we didn't have BetterHelp, we didn't have Talkspace, we didn't have commercials about therapy, we didn't have TikTok. Like, therapy was some shit you saw in movies, and white people were running that shit, and nobody wanted a therapist that was white who would make them feel stupid for the racism that they were experiencing on a daily basis. So I understand the help that he would have sought probably wouldn't have helped him in the way he needed the help, but damn it, I don't know, girl, I don't know what to say, because it doesn't make it okay, because the opportunities for help wasn't there. It still doesn't make it okay that those actions were chosen, because a lot of people were abused and manipulated and hurt throughout the years before therapy became more safe and more people of color became therapists to help make the space more safe. There were still people in the world choosing to do better. No matter how deep and horrible their abuse was, there were still people in the world choosing to do better. So I don't know what the fuck they did to choose to do better, but that means there were options, and you did not choose those options. So you are at fault for every fucking thing you chose to do to hurt people after a certain age. I don't care. And so anyways, like, he beats dude up, and then he takes dude out to the desert. Dude's like, I don't want to die, I want to live. And then he kills dude, and then he leaves the shovel there with his fingerprints on it. Like, he was so cautious in the house, but now it's like, oh, fuck your fingerprints. And he goes back home, and then this is my thing. Like, the raggedy demon that came out of his ass, I don't know if the demon, because in the first season, Hiram, the white dude that made the covenant with the devil in order to keep Compton free of black folks, Hiram was sending out these demons to each family members to scare the shit out of them and make them crazy. So I don't know if the demons like stayed with the family, or their family's angst and pain and trauma creates the demons. But I do know that this is one of the best representation of how generational epigenetical trauma follows black people throughout the whole gene pool until we get help and fix ourselves. And I just That demon came out of him and said, just kill yourself and then I will take control, and then give yourself over to the evil inside of you. And then and the evil is his trauma. The evil is the thing inside of him that wants to hurt everything and everyone that hurt him, and then some. And he slit his throat and gave himself over to the demon. And so this is where Don comes in. So after he killed old dude in the desert, he goes, because he had been trying to find his sister. He remembers his sister. Don doesn't remember him because Athena, the adoptive mother, told Don when she was a kid and sent that little baby back to that evil woman that her brother was her imaginary friend. And of course she's 3, 4, 5. She's just like, you tell a little 3, 4, 5 something over again, they're gonna believe it. So she just believed that her brother was her imaginary friend her whole fucking life. So when he came to visit, she didn't recognize him. She didn't know who he was. He was walking around her house. He lied, of course, and said that, these narcissist sociopaths want to have grander lives than they actually have. So they will lie and make up stuff, which is seen throughout the whole show. He's lying and make up, oh yeah, my mother and dad was teachers and, And it's like, no, honey, no, they weren't. I mean, maybe the white people that he stayed with for a little bit, maybe, before the white man wrote the book, he was a teacher. I don't fucking know. But I know that was some bullshit about him buying a house. I was just like, with what money? And like, he quit his fucking job at the little Chuck E. Cheese children's farm, and he was still had an apartment to live in. And then I had to remind myself, oh, this is 1989. That's a studio apartment. That shit probably ran for $300 a month, girl. He had money to pay for that. And so I just so like, he didn't buy that house. But anyway, she was a cop already, so she knew that he was lying when he walked up in there. And when she got him out on the porch, she was just like, don't ever come back to this. And he's just standing there crying like, oh, I'm so happy for you. And I'm just like, nigga, why don't you tell her you're her brother? Why are you but see, like, we're not registering any other thought patterns outside of our own. Like, maybe she doesn't know who I am because she was little and she forgot. Maybe I should tell her. No, we're just like, oh, she hates me. And then, of course, the demon feeds into, oh, she hates me. So Dawn is the other twin of the oldest child from the first season that was given over to this crazy lady. First 3 years, same thing that he got. Put in boxes and straw in the box to breathe and being beaten, abused, and all sorts of shit. So we start her off as she is coming back to this house because the old woman that used to watch her got murdered, but she doesn't know that the old woman used to watch her because she doesn't know she's adopted. Athena didn't tell her she was adopted. She let her go all the way up until her 30s without telling this bitch Athena's trash. I don't care. No, Athena's trash. She's fucking trash. Like, she deserved what she got. Like, you don't do that to that child. Like, if he had just kept it to the people that actively hurt him, but no, he was out here killing children and shit. Like, because they were twins. You killed the twins because they were twins so that she could remember being a twin. Like, these are innocent little children. Like, you killed this little boy because he got separated from his brother. He was a twin. Like, so anyway, she gets to the house. She's having flashbacks, not realizing she's having flashbacks of how the house used to look versus how it looks now. And then she gets to where the woman is. Woman's folded up into the little pretzel and shit. That's how he kills people. He folds them into pretzels. And so we go through all this shit. And so she gets put on the case and she's trying to figure out who's killing these people. And every person she comes in contact is the ones that end up dead. And then her partner is this racist white dude. His name is McKinney, but like, I've been calling him Jeremy Bob because that's what his real name is. I'm like, look at Jeremy Bob over there. And I'm glad Jeremy Bob's character got killed the fuck off. I don't give a shit. I am glad Jeremy Bob's character got killed the fuck off. And so anyway, Jeremy Bob is your everyday racist, and Dawn is just like, she's in the police force because her grandfather was in the police force. And I'm just like, girl, why are you in the police force? No, because all cops are bad, because you see it in this show. Like, she stood there and allowed Jeremy Bob to interrogate one of the foster kids that was in the house with this old woman all the way up until the point where this child was crying. If you are in a situation where you can't even stand up for the people that need help, then you shouldn't be in that situation then, because you can't make any change here. You're not going to make any change. That's why she quit at the end, because you're not going to make any change here. They wanted to put her at a fucking desk job quietly we can put you at a desk job so you can still get your pension and retirement and da da da. I just be like, give me my shit anyways. Give me my shit anyways before I release it to the press. Like, I don't want to work here. Just give me my shit. And so like she got to work with this white dude, right? And through the course of this, she's trying to figure out why these people are being folded into pretzels, who's coming after her, and we find out over time like she cheated on her husband with this black dude Reggie and shit, and Reggie feel like disconnected from her because, you know, like she don't be opening up to him, and they fucked in a fucking chlorine filled pool, and I just felt like all of that yeast bacteria, like, no nigga, you can't, because the water from the pool is gonna go into your vagina and there's gonna be chlorine all the way up to your cervix. And so you're gonna get some kind of yeast bacterial situation going on with that orgasm that she got. Okay, so and so like she trying to figure out like who's killing these people. She finds out about, like, she thinks it's a serial killer, but Billy Bob Thornton over here is like, no, it's these niggers and their drugs. And she's just looking at her like, what the fuck? Even the coroner's looking at this nigga like, this child could not have folded this bitch into a pretzel this precisely with no bruising. Like, she died in the process of this shit. She was alive during it. And then when she goes back, like, there's another killing and the person is rolled up in the mattress, just like that little boy that got rolled up in that mattress by them white kids, and they still can't figure out who did it. And she thinks that that's another killing, but it's not. And she sees this one dude looking at her, so she chases him down. I'm like, why are you chasing this nigga? Like, what? Just because he was looking and he smiled? Like, see, you all cops are bad. No, because you're doing bad cop shit. Like, she beat up some nigga a couple years ago with a baton and shit, an informant. Like, she chasing niggas down just because they was at the scene staring and smiling and shit. This bitch chased this nigga through the projects, through people's homes and shit like that. And I just feel like they just made the projects look so scary. And it reminded me of when I was little and I would go visit like my older relatives' homes, and they would have like these nice homes in like Pasadena and shit like that. But like every time you would go in there, it would just be these area, like all the lights weren't on. Like, they would just be these rooms that were dark with the doors cracked open a little bit, or these areas that were just dark, and I would just be sitting up in their house, all the adults is talking, I'm just sitting up staring at these dark areas like, what if there's a ghost over there? That's what it made me think. They made it so scary and horrifying. It made me think of that shit. And then it made me think of like when you would go, like, I grew up in the 90s. So everybody from the 50s and 60s were dying off in the 90s. And so like I went to my fair share of funerals of older generational people that I barely knew. And I was a child of one of the adults that had to plan those funerals and shit. So I would be in funeral homes sitting while the adults are like talking and planning funerals, staring at cracked open doors with the lights off and wondering, is that where they keep the dead bodies? Of course, as I've gotten older, I realized that they keep the dead bodies far away from the general public that come in there to buy caskets and things. But for me as a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, I was just looking at these cracked doors like, what if there's a dead person on the table? Like, why am I in here? Like, I want to go. And we'll be in there for hours, like looking at caskets and filling out paperwork and shit. And I would just be like tired, and I had been staring at these dark half open doors for like hours, imagining all sorts of horrors. And that's what this shit made me think of. I was just like, why is it so scary? And the lighting too, like the lighting was perfect. It was like the green and the oranges and the yellows, just perfect on black skin, the brown, the mahoganies. It was magical, but like still, that shit was scary. She was running. I was just like, she brave running in people's houses, but I guess the people ain't gonna shoot the police. So, and then they knocked her down the stairs, and she still got up and kept running after that nigga. And I was just like, she's an athlete. She is an athlete. And she ran after that nigga, and got to that nigga. He was holding his baby, crying. So I'm like, oh no. And I believed him at first. I was getting formula for the baby, and I'm sure he was getting formula for the baby, but when they walked past his kitchen and there was the little powdery substance with the scooper, I thought it was formula. I was like, look at them coming after this man, and he just has formula on the scene. Obviously, I am an innocent, pure at heart person when it comes to black people, and I really wanted to believe that he had formula on the sink. He wasn't a drug dealer. What is this white man talking about? Of course, he beats his ass, and then that night, he's cooking up his crack, cocaine, dope, meth, whatever the fuck he's making. That just proved he's doing what he needs to do to survive, y'all. He's poverty, that's poverty crimes. I'm not gonna judge somebody for poverty crimes. And so, like, the thing comes for him. I don't know why the thing came for him. Maybe because he was a single father, like he was a father, like he was. I don't understand why Edmund came for this man. Like, he wasn't a part of, like, Benny had a brother. He had a sibling he was separated from. The little Asian twins were twins. Like, Miss Mott, we know why he came from Miss Mott, because she was crazy and abused him. Like, Athena, because she fucking abandoned. He didn't kill the white bitch. He didn't kill the white motherfuckers that left his. You gonna kill Athena, but you ain't gonna kill them white motherfuckers that left your ass on your toe, girl. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe the spirit couldn't go that far. I don't know, but I just feel like, why you kill Athena but didn't kill them white motherfuckers? But you gonna kill these kids that had nothing to do with it. You could have just let them kids alone and killed them white motherfuckers, but no, we didn't. You could have swathed through, killed mommy, daddy, and the sibling, and let it be. But no, you just so. Anyways, we find out more shit. He killing other people. He killing the twins, and then this little Latin boy, like, he's seeing them, and so he killed the little Latin boy, and then he killed little Latin boy in some fucked up way, because basically Dawn was sitting outside. No, let me go back, because Dawn thought it was her partner at first. She thought it was Billy Bob Thornton, and so Dawn, stupid ass. No, she's a dummy. I don't care. Why she follow this nigga to a KKK rally and almost got KKK killed? And I was just, why are you following this nigga to his little friend's house where they do KKK things? Why are we? What was the reason? And she almost got raped, murdered, and buried alive underneath. Them niggas came out that house, out the bushes, out the wherewithal, and she almost died. And she made it home, and then to top it off, as soon as she get home, Athena's sitting on the couch talking about, cause Edmund's ghost or whatever, the Raggedy Ann nigga, was fucking with Athena, talking about, what's in the box, mom? What's in the box? And so Athena's sitting on the couch gonna tell her, like, oh, you're adopted. You've been, I've been keeping this from you because I wanted you to feel normal. And okay, honey. And then she got this son. The son got, like, OCD and shit. Like, his dad, they got a divorce because she cheated. And then it's during the Rodney King riots, and his mom's a cop. So he over here with OCD. And then here come Edmund Ghost thing fucking with him and shit on top of everything else. So he's just over here fucked up. And so then we get to Benny. Benny is seeing shit, the man with the red hair and all this other stuff. So basically Benny, they end up, the Latin folks end up doing like an exorcism, because they say it's a demon. That's what, maybe if she left him there, it would have been exorcism. But her stupid ass took him out the house. Should have waited for the ambulance. I don't give a fuck. Her stupid ass got by herself with this child. No, nigga, I would have left him in that house and waited for the ambulance. Let the ambulance deal with it, so everybody could see this little nigga folded up. I don't care. You ain't about to blame me for shit. That's how she got in trouble. So then she got her badge taken because he got folded up in the backseat of her car, and they can't account for 8 minutes of the drive that she took to get to the hospital. But my thing is, like, you ain't gonna do that in 16 minutes. In 30 minutes, you can't do that by hand. Break each toe, each finger, bend back the knee, bend back the back, break each vertebrae in the back. You ain't doing that in 16. With no bruising. Okay, honey. But these are white police officers. They don't care. And so they put her before the tribunal trying to figure out if she lied. And then she find out that she used to live in Mott's. Get home, Athena mad. She mad at Athena. Well, you lied to me. I know. Why you lied to her, Athena? And, like, her child is sitting there mad because the kids at school mad at him because his mom is a child killer along with being a cop and all this shit. And so he got a performance that night. So he go to his little performance where he does his drum and shit. And you know, Raggedy Ann man comes and it's all up in his face, like you know. And then he like has a seizure or some shit. Bring him home. They sitting up in the house, and Raggedy Ann man fucking with him all day in the house and shit, and fucking with Athena and all this other shit. Putting a little Raggedy Ann doll. Come to find out, the oldest daughter from the first season left them both these two Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. She didn't have her doll. I didn't see her doll, but like he kept his doll. Like Athena tried to throw his doll away. All this, the doll kept reappearing. I'm assuming that the demon was in the doll. Like that's what happened. The demon was in the doll, and I don't know how it got in the doll, but it was in the doll and personified as whatever the fuck that shit was. And then also trauma, you know. A representation of generational epigenetical trauma. And so anyways, they fucking with him all day. It's raining and shit like that. And then like Athena's like, oh, someone's in the house, because she saw the Raggedy Ann doll at the bottom of the stairs. And so they lock, Athena and the little boy lock each other in the room. That little boy is a good actor. Let me get to that part though. And then she go around the house, Dawn around the house looking for the nigga that's in the house and all such shit. And like she comes back upstairs, and the recording that she made with one of the little girls that was in the foster care home with that old lady, and her telling that old lady that she had an imaginary friend in the beginning, it keeps replaying over and over again. I had an imaginary friend, imaginary friend, imaginary friend. And she turns it off, and she's like, what the fuck is it? What's going on? And Athena comes out the room and tells her about her fucking twin brother that she sent back to that fucking house. And I'm just like, bitch, why are we repeating the traumas and each time? Like, why did you have to do that to that little boy? He didn't deserve to have to go back to that fucking girl. We just in our own way, like we not taking care of our people. It's like we had to experience the trauma directly from the white folks in the beginning. This season, it's systematically, and it shows how white supremacy is also embedded in our own culture. Like how we just have grabbed a hold of this shit that these white people have poured on us, and we can't let it the fuck go. Like Dawn beating up niggas and chasing them down and being a police officer and shit like that. Like, what are you doing, man? Police started off as the KKK. Like, why are we doing this? Like giving up your baby to people that you don't even know who they are. You just think that, oh, well, like they're going to be good here. The house is clean. She has a soothing voice when she speaks. So and then Athena going and taking that child back because she's a single mother and she cannot handle like the responsibility of a mentally ill child. Like how we fail our children. You knew that he was mentally ill because he was in that place, and you took him back to that place to be further and now look what happened. His demon spirit is killing everybody. I love it. I loved it all, and I love how it connected to the first one. And I hate that you have to trudge and slodge through the first one and all the racism of the white folks to get to this magical gem of a fucking show. Because if you don't watch the first one, you're not gonna get why at the very end of this show this mother was so traumatized that she couldn't take care of these babies, and you're not gonna get why this demon has been tracing through these children's lives since the beginning of the show. You used to be like, oh, it's a demon. Oh, you know, she couldn't. What is this flashback? Why is she covered in white paint? I don't know, girl. Why is she? And so anyways, like she finds out about her brother, and you know, they chilling, they sitting up in the house, and what is it? Did it happen before or after? I think it happened before. Okay, so then Athena, no. Then Dawn, like, at some point goes and checks on her son one more time to see if he's okay. And he's turned over to the side, like, sleeping shit. And, like, all of a sudden, like, she turns around, and then and he's like, Mom, can I ask you a question? And she turns back around. He's like, sitting like this. And I'm just like, this little nigga can act. He's trying to act like the dude, and he's doing a wonderful, magnificent job. This child can act. He's an actor. And he's like, did you fuck Reggie? And why did you fuck Reggie? And you cheated on dad and blah, 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 blah. And she's just realizing this is not her child. And she's just like, what are you talking? And then she hears the banging on the other door, and come to find out her child's been locked in a room and stuff. So, like, why is that? Like, she brings him back to bed. She's braiding his hair. I was like, it's so cute. They're braiding hair, black people. Athena's getting this phone call, right? And earlier in the episode, Athena got fired because she got a box full of Raggedy Ann and Annie dolls at her job. She worked at a little corner toy shop and shit. And she threw them in the trash. And the Asian lady there was getting frustrated with her anyways, because like her hands and stuff, and she wasn't able to do all the things she was supposed to do in the shop. But she wasn't saying nothing until she saw that these are $100 worth of toys, and you threw them in the trash. And I was just like, girl, shut up. And so she gets a call from the Asian lady saying, I'm sorry I fired you. And you come to the shop, and she's like, what? And then it starts to static, and then the demon's on there talking about, you come to the shop, or da, da, da. So she goes, looks at her daughter one last time and her grandchild one last time, because she knows she's gonna die. She gets to the shop, the nigga's fucking with her like, look, see. And then that's when you see her try to open the medicine bottle, and she can't because her hands all fucked up and shit like that. And I just feel like that was him showing her like, nigga, I was 3. Those child protectant covers over those bottles, why would I be able to open those bottles? I don't care. She got what she got what she got. She got what she got. And the nigga cut her head off with one of them paper slicers and shit that should not be in anywhere. We shouldn't own those. Those are dangerous. And so, like, she dies, and then the police come to Dawn's house. Dawn goes to see her mother, and she just sees her mother's head sitting in the aisle of the toys, and she passes the fuck out, as she should. And then she had already called Tiana Taylor's husband to that's what we're called. Girl, like, he was just an extra. Like, the acting was not on par with everyone else. He's the extra. She calls Tiana Taylor's husband, that is her child's father in the show, and he comes down to play the good dad and take care of his son. And then she like goes back to the Mott house because first she tells her partner, she got a new partner, this Latin dude, and she tells him like she thinks her brother is like a ghost and trying to come get her and shit. And he thinks she's crazy, so he's plotting on her with Billy Bob Thornton. And she goes back to the Mott house. Him and Billy Bob Thornton are sitting outside the house watching her. Billy Bob Thornton's just like, see, they always return to the scene of the crime. Racism, niggers. And she goes in the house, and she's like looking at all the stuff that she recorded while she was walking through the house. Like, she has her little like voice recorder and shit, and she like keeps notes with it. And she's realizing that there was never a clock there when she first went in. The glass on the door was never there, and the imprint of the box in the closet wasn't there when she first went, because those were all flashbacks and memories, and she didn't realize it. So then she leaves, and she had been trying to get this dude to like her partner to like get the information on her brother, his police records. So he gets the information, he goes to his house, she finds out that he killed that dude from earlier on in the show. And then he did this one last audition tape where he's just, after he visited her house, she's like, oh, he visited my house. That's when she realized, when she finally saw the tape, he was just a sad man. He was just like, oh man, you have everything, I have nothing. All I see is I lay in bed and I can't sleep and I can't move, and you have all the things and I don't. Like, if you had just told her, maybe she would have just, been your sister. But girl, whatever, nigga. And so like he's on, and then he comes out with his little raggedy man headgear and shit on, and then her partner finally believes that, oh, he's the red-haired man, there is a ghost. And so then she comes out the room. She got to go back home where her ex and her her son is, because she didn't protect her family. And in the meantime, while she's there, Tiana Taylor ex-husband hears some shit upstairs, and so he go upstairs, and here come Raggedy Ann man coming to get him, and he throws this big ass nigga off the railing of them stairs, and I was just like, This nigga is huge. The way he fell through that shit and landed on the floor, I was like, wow, that nigga is big. And so the child is there screaming and shit, and then he takes the child, right? So blah blah blah. Don ends up shooting Billy Bob Thornton, and they blame everything on Billy Bob Thornton. He was the greatest pansy of all pansies. Yes, he was. It's his fault these kids ended up folded up like a pretzel. That's him. And she had the wherewithal to record him being crazy. It's magical. But anyway, she goes back home, finds out that this nigga took her child to Mott's house, goes to Mott's house, and that's when the most excellent cinematography, one of the most excellent cinematography moments I've seen in my life. They took her back in time and walked her through that house. Her brother became a child and showed her what that bitch put them through, and she remembered hiding under the sink with him, and then being in the box and him putting a straw in the box so she could breathe. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. And the fact that throughout this whole thing she's been having panic attacks. She thought she had heart problems because she thought the man that was her dad, who actually wasn't her dad, because he had heart problems, she thought she had heart problems. But in actuality, throughout the movie, the show, she was having panic attacks at things that triggered her memories subconsciously, and she didn't realize. That's why when in the house she kept having panic attacks while she was going through the house and shit, right? And so, like, he takes her through the house, and then the Raggedy Ann man demon tries to take over, and then there's a Raggedy Ann girl demon trying to, like, invade her shit, and was like, no, come with us so we can be evil together. So basically a metaphor of letting your trauma control you to the point where you turn evil and shit. And she was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I didn't know about you, and Athena lied and said you were my imaginary friend. And then he starts breaking apart, because when the truth hits you, the truth will break you and shit, nigga. Like, and then, like, she gets up and she just is like walking towards him like, I wish I had known you. You my brother. I love you. You protected me over and over again. Ba-da-da-da-da and shit. And then, like, he breaks down to his final form and shit. This is heap on the floor. And then she looks at him and she's just like, I love you. You're my brother and shit. And then his jaw breaks and he dies and I just feel like this is the perfect representation of black women and black men. Living in your trauma and making it turn you into a fucking colorist, self-hating monster. While black women are over here trying to heal and let y'all know the door is open. If you work through your shit, the door is open. Y'all over there, the whole NFL draft with white women and shit on your arm that's gonna steal from you eventually. Gonna make up some shit and get you arrested and then try to sue you for millions of dollars. But, you know, whatever, nigga. That's not my life. That's your life. And, you know, like, I feel like that's the representation of black men and black women. We brothers and sisters in arms. We love each other. We're supposed to be there for each other. But black women, even though we've gone through shit, because Dawn still went through stuff. She's still making mistakes and has issues in her relationships and problems and stuff like that. But she can still function in the world and change and grow and evolve. This nigga over here has had the worst of the worst throughout his whole life. So yes, it's harder to change and grow and evolve, but it's still possible to do that if you had just opened your mouth and said that you was her brother. If you had just opened your mouth and said, I'm your brother. We grew up in the same group home. I lived here for a little bit, and, you know, hey sister. But no, instead you got it into your head that she just hated you and was against you and was all this other shit, and you allowed yourself to sink fully into being a monster. And so, you know, I just feel like this is a commentary on how we are as a society. And he couldn't come back from that. He turned into dust and grains, and you know, he just laid there and he just couldn't he just couldn't come back from that. But you can, as a black man, you can come back from the shit that you've probably done in this world to make you against black women, especially dark-skinned black women. You could probably come back from that if you wanted to, but, you know, niggas, I don't have a lot of hope, but, you know, there's still hope. It's just not a lot of hope, and I'm not about to risk my mental health to to try to make that hope, turn that hope into something more than what reality is showing me. So, you know, she finds her son. He locked her son in the closet where they used to be locked in a box and shit. And he go home. And then, like, I guess she's slowly starting to build back things together with Tiana Taylor's ex-husband. What's his name? That's what he's called. And you know, she's sitting in the room going through the box of stuff that her mom left to her biological mother, and there's a picture. First, there's a picture of him and her, of the twins, and like, you'll see his eyes was just hella dark and hella, like, he already had some shit going on even at that point in time. And then behind that picture, stuck to it, is a picture of her biological mother, her biological grandmother, grandfather, and her biological aunties and uncles and shit like that. And she's looking at her biological grandmother because they used the same actress to play the mother in the first season that they're using to play Dawn in this season. So she's looking at her biological grandmother. I don't know what's going to happen next, because I don't know, because the way she was looking at her, I don't know if the grandmother's soul inhabited this woman or whatever, but I know that the old-timey blackface nigga came out to clear blue sky, and I'm just like, but I thought that was from Harem. I thought those demons and stuff were just like pretend scary things from the white man that made the covenant with the devil in the first season. But no, he's still there. I don't know. Maybe he's a representation of how trauma and white supremacy, even though things look good right now, is still lingering in the background and causing issues and problems in their lives. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it was magnificent. It was magnificent how they did this shit. And we got some like Hereditary, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, some Paranormal Activity up in this bitch. And it was just, if nobody watches this and it doesn't get a third season, I'm going to be upset now, because now I'm hooked. Now I want to know what's the next generation of this family going to look like. Like, what's going to happen in the next, like, I need to know. Don't fuck this up for me and shit, nigga. Like, I didn't think there was going to be another season after the first season, but they said they came back and they did it bigger and better than ever and introduced concepts that don't tend to be introduced in black shows. Intergenerational trauma from one generation to the next generation. What's the third generation going to look like? Who is her son going to turn into? Is she going to have more children? Who are those kids going to turn? Who are their children? Is the demons going to keep following them? Is the demon of trauma going to keep following them forever? What's going to help them get better? What's going to help them get rid of the demon of trauma? I want to know. I have to know. Like, I literally want to know, like, what's going to make the demon trauma disappear? See, this is a good ass fucking. Now I'm going to watch the first season again, because now you can connect the dots. It's just like A Court of Thorn and Roses. You cannot say you don't like the book unless you just don't like romance novels. It is what it is. Until you finish the second book, because the second book rips the first book apart, and you have to read the second book to get what the rest of the books are talking about. And so that's how they did that shit. And it was magical. I don't know what they're gonna do, and it's upsetting, because if they cancel it, I'm gonna be upset. I need memes. I need y'all to make videos and memes and TikToks about this shit. Like, watch the fucking show. It's like that show From. Oh, God, that's such a good show. And people were worried because it's a black lead that, you know, they're going to cancel it. It's on MGM. No one watches MGM because I watch it online for free. I don't care. I'm not paying for MGM. I'm not paying for another subscription. I don't care. So they better like connect with Paramount just like Showtime did or something, because I don't care. But let's like that show From. People thought it wasn't gonna get another season, but like, it's getting another season. It's so good. That's a good show too. I might do that because it's a black lead, and it's the dude that played in Romeo and Juliet, and the nigga that played in like what's it called? You know that movie with them black niggas and shit, and they was getting married and shit? With Tay Diggs and shit. You know what I'm talking. Morris Chestnut and them niggas. Terrence Howard. He was in that movie. And so, like, I need to see more. Like, I need to see how the demon evolves and transforms. Were the little creeper demons that the Hiram sent after the family in the first season, were they actual demons? I thought they were just illusions to scare them, but were they actual demons and shit that have been following this family since forever? Like, since they moved to Compton? Like, let me know. Like, I have questions. I have concerns. I want to see how this trauma demon stuff keeps going. It was so good, y'all. It was so good. I haven't watched anything that has moved me like that in so long, and it was magical. And y'all need to watch this fucking show. Don't watch this review if you have not, because I spoiled this shit in the beginning. Like, no, because I needed to connect it to the first season so y'all could see why you have to watch the first season to get what's going on in the second season. Or else it's going to be this standalone thing and you're not going to get how it's magnificently connected and turned into a thing. Like, it's a thing, y'all. Like, I love it. It's magical. And give me more, please. But anyways, let me know what you thought of this review of the show. Let me know your feelings, emotions, and, let's talk about it. Later days.